Hello and welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships. Compliments of the season! It's almost Christmas! Yes, we have like a week and a few days to go, but I can start celebrating by wearing my red. And where I don't have anything else that's green, my husband can help me by wearing his green, but you soon see what he has on. Okay, so how are you doing? How are you enjoying the season? What have you done so far that you didn't do since January to November? I mean, something festive, something exciting, something spicy. Okay, yeah. So, welcome back to the show. You know, we try to bring you valuable information that will help you make better decisions in your life and in your relationships. And today is going to be really amazing. Remember, this is episode 2 of something.
Yeah,
So,
it's
with me on the show is my
episode 2
husband.
of something huge.
Yes.
Something huge or something light. Remember when those things were trending? Yeah. All right. So compliments of the season. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. We will finish this year. We'll finish it strong, notwithstanding how things have been going. So please, this is a good time to share, like, subscribe. You know, just do something celebratory to someone by sharing what we are celebrating. Abba, you will just come and look, and then you will look, finish, and scroll over. Oga, share now. Put it on your status. Then they charge you. Is it expensive? Okay, that's my Christmas message to you. Share. It's a season of sharing. Yes. Don't just keep to yourself. Share in this season. Share our link. Share our channel. Share it for somebody to make them have a better 2025. Okay? All right. So I'm back on the show. Today we have an interesting twist to episode 1. All right. So, and in this episode, those 5 things that we shared in episode 1 that singles need to pay attention to before to just even be able to check yourself to know if you're ready to jump in, because we're answering the question, why are singles not getting are they not getting married? Yeah. So in this episode, we'll take those 5 things and we'll replay for you how it happened in our life when we were about to get married. We got married around 26. 26 years old. We got married. We got married when we turned 27. But we did all of these things that we are telling you when we were 26, right? So it's never too young. And we have some of our mentees that have gotten married at younger, so it's not too young, right? So
okay, all right. So 5 things that you should consider. Just a quick recap from last week. We talked about a place to stay, rented or owned.
Number 1.
Right? We talked about a source of income.
2.
Or maybe source itself. We talked about the ability
Minimum
to care.
source.
Yes. Ability to care for yourself and one other person.
Number 3, duty of care.
Maturity.
Number 4, maturity, emotional intelligence.
Yes, and then we talked about adaptability.
Number 5, adaptability, ability to adapt.
Very funny. Okay, so we'll start from the first one, which is a place to stay. Did you have a place to stay?
That year. That, you know, it's good that she said a place to stay. Yes. It's not a place that everybody can stay. You know, there are 2 different things between a place that everybody can stay and a place to stay. Yes, it's a place to stay. It was a 1 room. What did you call it that time? Is it 1 room self-con? Was it 1 room self-con? What did you call it?
No, it was not 1 room self-con. It was 1 room inside a house that had other rooms.
No, now see why you say listen. It was one. Okay, self-con has the toilet and bathroom.
And your parlor, everything is self-contained.
And now, because it was 1 room, but inside that room, I demarcated the room and had parlor, right? There was see that space in the front. That was the parlor. Now that place where we used to keep the laptop and then we'll watch this thing. No, it wasn't okay. It wasn't laptop. It was laptop of that year. It was those convertible that is like dish. It now has screen. It's all in one. So it was all in one that time. So that space is the parlor. Then that place where my mattress is, that's the bedroom. Do you understand? So it was 1 room self-contained. It's just that the toilet and bathroom was in
outside,
in
the other side of the house.
Yes, in the other side of the house. So I had a place to stay.
You were sharing with other people.
No,
They had their rooms.
They had their rooms. So it was one room. It was one room. I don't know what you call it but it was one room that contained us.
Bottom line, you had a place to stay.
Yes. It was a room that contained us.
Yeah.
We were all contained. So it's self-contained. We were all contained inside that house. You know, we had 4 rooms.
Yes.
My friends were in the other room. I had my own room, and my room had its parlor. So I had parlor, and then we had a shared kitchen and a shared bathroom. So we were all contained.
Yes, you were all contained inside. Yes, but it was obvious that you couldn't marry and live in that house with your wife.
No.
It would have been a huge problem.
But at least I satisfied that. Where you are going is number 3. I satisfied the condition of number 1. Did I have a place to stay?
Yes. I don't know if anything has changed, but back in the day, or let me say at that time, it was still seen as a good thing for you to be married from your parents' house.
It's a virtuous thing.
So you are at home, and then whoever wants to come and marry you marries you, and then at that time you leave your parents' house to go and live with your husband. So I was in my mother's house. Okay, number 2.
Yes.
Income.
Yes. I had an income because something was coming in. Don't ask me what was coming in. But was something coming in? Yes. Something was coming in. Yes.
Something was coming in.
Yes. At that time I was a hustler. And interestingly, I was still a copper at that time when we were preparing all of these things. When we were trying to make all these bold moves, I was a copper. And like I said, Alawi,
I said
copper show, yes. Alawi was coming in at that time, so that was something. So before you think that I had plenty money, and then I was doing, but because I was a very sharp guy, you know, I got that time. I didn't have any godfather, but the sharpness that the Lord gave me allowed me to get an opportunity to serve in a bank at that time as a copper. So something was
also coming
in from that side, you know, as a serving copper. So I was serving the nation and also providing financial services to the people of the nation. So something was coming in as a copper. So I had an income.
Okay.
Was it very big? No. Was it like the ones people are making today? No. But yes, I satisfied condition 2.
Condition 2, you had an income.
I had an income.
Okay, me, condition 2, I had 2 streams of income. Number one was one that I took from school. I continued by the time I finished school. I continued making cakes. I was making cakes. So I would, of course, make cakes for people, make cakes for banks, make cake for, you know, whoever, and earn money. Then I had a job. So I was working in a company somewhere in Abuja, and I was earning money. That money was annoying, Sha. And let me tell you why it was annoying. Because at some point, I found out that they were paying a copper who schooled abroad. So she did her first degree abroad, came back and was, of course, speaking for now all over the place. And they were paying her double what they were paying me. At that time, I had my master's, but I was still talking like this. Maybe if I had known, I would have said, like there's something I'm in my mouth or something, you know. But so that's why I say it was annoying. But of course, I had to pray and say, God, you have to vindicate me. I was praying that prayer. So anyway, 2 streams of income.
You had something coming in, even though it was small. Even it could have been more, but you had something coming in, and you were praying that the Lord will vindicate you, and we both know He did.
Yes, He did.
He's a vindicator of the victimized. The victimized. He knows that. See, there are some battles you just leave for the Lord to fight. He knows how to settle you. I'm telling you, when the vindication came, I was like, hey, it's a very good vindication. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we've done number 1 and number 2. Now we're going to number 3, which is the ability to care for yourself and one other person. Okay,
yes. So that's why I wanted you to wait till we get here so we can talk about it.
Yes, my Lord.
It was in this place that we started going. We had to go from self-contained to containing us. Do you understand? From before it was containing self to now containing us. So that's when we started looking for a place that can contain more than self. That's yourself
And
and
one other person.
that's how you define us. Us is yourself and one another.
Yes,
So that's when we started looking for. So you can now share how we were looking for this.
He was living in Akure at that time.
Yes,
so
Akure.
went to look for
Obadeshida Road.
Yes.
Shout out to all the members of 1313. No. That's what they used to call that our flat. I'm sure that flat is still there. 1313.
Yeah. So yes. Akure had a number of interesting features. For instance, they had the taxis that ran through. Like there was this road.
It's just one major road. That's Obadeshida Road. That one major road. It runs through the whole city.
And there were taxis just going up and down, and you could pay. I think that time it was 5 naira.
I can't even remember for 2 seats.
I think it was 5 naira for one seat. So you can actually pay 10 naira for two seats. Oh my goodness. Yes. So in my mind, I was like, hey, we can do. If I'm going somewhere, I can pay for 2 seats in front, right? And at least I'll be in front comfortable. I don't have to be squashed at the back with anybody because this guy 4 people at the back. So anyway, that was for. So I thought about that as per options for transportation because we didn't have a car. But for house, he found somewhere in the GRA.
Yeah, in that GRA
in the
side.
GRA side.
Yes, so
it wasn't a standalone house. It was the BQ
of a standalone house.
Yes, but this BQ had 3 rooms.
Was it 3 or 2?
It was 3.
It was 3, yeah.
Because I know I was concerned about the fact that it was so big, but with
but it's in Akure. They are not mising land like Lagos. Yeah, people in Lagos, people can mise land. You just you see one small box, they will build a duplex inside the small box. By the time you enter, you'll be shifting like this to pass through the Lagos people. But shout out to my Akure people. People have land. You know how to build well. So with
BQ was 3 rooms. Yes. And so we looked at it as the option.
The option, yes.
And at that time it was like 30K a year, right?
I can't remember.
It was
something that we could afford.
30K, that 30 or 35, I think it was 30K a year. So from his corporation allowance to the bank
allowance,
whatever you were getting, you could comfortably afford that. So that was the plan.
That was the plan.
Yes. And I was planning to move.
To come to
from Abuja where I was.
From Abuja to come and stay
with my beloved,
with a promising young man,
sweet husband,
with a promising young man in Akure. Let me ask a trick question. Well, you see, a trick question is a real question. How many ladies will actually agree to move from Abuja to Akure? I don't know. People answered. Let me put it this way: will you move from Abuja to Akure for love?
This guy, you like drama too much.
Because for love, instead they'll be telling the promising young man, Baba, you are the one that has to come to Abuja. Meanwhile, because in Akure, what was coming in
was enough.
Yes, for myself and one other. But in Abuja, what was coming in cannot contain self. Do you understand? It cannot contain myself. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But it was a case that I guess it's the sense that we decided within ourselves that we were going to stay within our means. We're going to exist within what we could afford. Even if anybody dashed us anything, is outside we are not planning with other people's pockets. We are not planning with the hope of other people's expectations that we are trying to have. Yeah. Because that's what some other young people do today. They are planning wedding with hope, or planning their life with hope. Oh, I have one uncle.
Oh, in fact, let me make you laugh. There was a post I saw recently on social media. It was a couple. I think they were white or black. I can't remember now, but a couple. They spent like maybe $6,000 or something on their wedding. And they were expecting that they would get maybe ×2 or ×3
from welfare
of that, from the people who showed up and all of that. But at the end of the wedding, they counted the money and it wasn't even up to the 6,000.
Try.
So both of them were really heartbroken.
Oh, wow.
And came online to ask the rest of the world, please, is this normal, or is it just them that this happened to? Because they really spent this much money on the wedding, and the people who came gave so little, you know. So now they're wondering, how are they going to do life? How are they going to start their life? Because people who came for their wedding didn't give money. So do you understand? So this is a perfect example of people saying, my wedding, people will show, people will give me, people will help me, people will.
No,
you can't plan with that.
Plan with that. We did not plan with that.
Yeah.
So it's a case of, if people show, if people help, is a plus for the marriage, not an addendum for the wedding.
Yeah.
Everything had to be within what we could,
what
we could afford, and what we could do it. So yourself and one other person. If you plan within that box, you guys will be fine. See, it's not. Listen, it's not everybody that must stay in Lekki. It's not everybody that must stay in Lagos. There are other parts of the world. That's the reality shock.
And places that you actually have a good quality of life.
You have a good quality of life.
Everything is affordable. School is affordable.
Yes, your children will go to good
affordable.
School, and you can afford it.
Yeah.
In fact, what is coming in will be sufficient for everything that you need to go out. Do you understand? So let's be removing this thing from our head. There is no law in this world that says your wedding must be on Bella Naija before it is a good wedding. No, shout out to Bella Naija. If you see us, please support our ministry. We want to go to the permanent site, to Ali. But I'm saying, why are you letting ladies put you under pressure? Ladies, why are you putting guys under this kind of pressure?
There's no law that says you must have bridal shower and something shower and all the many activities, the pre-wedding activities.
The showers that would just be sucking money, the small funds that you have.
Yeah.
Exactly. Those showers, if those showers don't happen, you will still marry. If you get a good photographer like we have in Broken Walls Media, I'm telling you, you will enjoy the pictures of your wedding. You will enjoy the picture. By the time they put color for you, my goodness, or they put highlighting, in fact, you even enjoy the pictures more than the wedding itself. So please, let's just
So he was able to take care of himself and and still speaking of, we're talking about ability to take care of yourself and one other person. So the house adjustment, we knew you could handle that. That was fine. That was okay. But even during that period, you were already sending me money. So he used to send me 5K every month. Remember, he opened an account for me as per banker. They always have to open accounts.
We have to open accounts. We are looking for Kaba.
He opened accounts for me, and then he will pay 5K into it every month.
Don't be opening my pocket.
No, wait. Now you tried. You at least
you showed
commitment.
I was promising
from the small days that you could. You were benevolent, so you pay 5K into it every now and then. There's those times you bought me a skirt, and you just did some other things with the little that he had, which was beautiful.
They have a very good market in Akure. That is not like a Lagos market.
Yeah. So yes, he was able to take care of himself and one other person. Definitely. I was able to take care of myself because from my final year and stuff in university, 4th year final year, I wasn't asking for money from home anymore. Right, because
I was industrious.
I was earning money from my cakes. I was selling eggs. I was renting pots. I was doing all sorts in school, and then I was on scholarship as well. So I had different streams. But after school, it was mainly the cake. It was mainly the cake and the work. So my plan was I will move to Akure, and this is something about industry. When there's something you can do with your hands, you can live anywhere. Do you understand? You can live anywhere.
Slow motion.
When there's something that you can do, if you can work with your hands, you can live anywhere. You're not limited. So I wasn't bound by, I don't have a job. I mean, there was no oil company in Akure. So if I was supposed to go and do engineering there, chemical engineering, for that matter, may have been a problem. But I was like, I can rely on my skills. I can make cakes. I can set up something, and grow from there. While he does 9 to 5, I can do business. That was the plan. So yes, I was able to take care of myself. I wasn't depending on anybody for money. And yes, so that's
number 3.
That's number 3. So now let's go
to number 4.
To number 4, which is maturity.
Maturity.
Maturity. What did life throw at you that you could say was evidence of your maturity?
Through you.
Like you say, something I say, okay, you need maturity to be able to handle something like this. How did you deal with that? How?
I think one instance that will come out was the fact that even in asking you out, there were guys that were my peers, right? That at that time, those guys would come and say, "Oh boy, how you take ask this babe out?" As per everybody knew you that Kai, there's a way she can laugh at you and to reduce your destiny, as in your liver would cut the liver to as in, when you come, there are some things you come and say, and there's some things you come and say to her, and then by the time she laughs at you, even as a big boy as you are, you too, you just respect yourself and pack well. And for me, that speaks of certain standards and certain values and certain levels of maturity. So if I like that in a lady, it suffices that, or it presupposes that I myself have to upgrade to a level where I can match that. I said something that my father used to say back then, because back then I used to sit a lot with my dad at the end of the day, and we would just talk. And so I always found myself in the presence of people that were older than me. In fact, even till today, a lot of my friends are much older than I am. But all of us sit and they talk, and they think we are all age mates. So, when I turned 40, and of course, when you turn 40, you have to do some kind of celebration. I didn't even want to do it, so that my re-age
Will not come
will
out.
not come out. But eventually, when it came out, they were now telling me, so you are just 40, and they say, okay, you have to start calling us uncle and stuff like that. But then my point is that because of the people I spend time with, and the level, the state at which they think also made me
Rubbed
up.
off.
Yes, the state at which I think and process. So when my friends come and ask me, how can you deal with that? For me, it was like, I felt it was normal, but they were saying it's
It
not
wasn't
normal.
normal.
Do
Yeah.
you understand? It takes a high level of maturity to be able to deal with a
Yeah.
lady that has this level of capacity and ambition and stuff like. And for me, I was thinking, the higher she would tell me is no, as in, do you understand? But yeah, that shows up. But it shows in the fact that I was always willing to upgrade myself. I was reading books, I was
Yeah.
studying, I was interacting, I was asking questions. I didn't take anything hook, line, and sinker. I was questioning things, and that improved the way I thought. So on the level of knowledge and know-how and understanding, yeah. On the level of um, emotional maturity, also, is the fact that I am able to, first of all, manage myself.
You had
Even
read that
before,
book.
even before I went into a relationship, there was a book that changed the way I thought. It's called "When Men Think Private Thoughts" by Gordon MacDonald. I think it's, yes,
Can't imagine.
yeah, Gordon, the guy that wrote "Ordering Your Private
Private World.
World." Yes. So "When Men Think Private Thoughts," that was the book that revolutionized the way I thought as a man, and began to adjust some of the childish things, that so you are not struggling about things that are childish anymore, because you begin to see how,
Level up.
yeah, you level up, see how men ought to think. And so, in fact, before I asked her out, I went for a whole year, and that year I was doing something I called a journey of self-discovery. I was finding myself, right? And in finding myself, I knew who I was, and then I knew what I needed. And when I saw that she has everything that I needed, it wasn't a problem to go. And so when my girlfriends are saying, "Oh boy, man," for me it was, that's what I need. And I have prepared myself to be able to do what? To handle what she has, because she has what I need, and I can handle what she brings. There's a little pride inside this
I
thing,
know.
I'm
I know. I
telling
can
you.
feel it.
I'm telling you. But that comes from knowing who you are, That comes from knowing who you
Yeah.
are. So it's not even arrogance. It's confidence clothed with a little dash of humility. Yeah, so
Interesting. Yes, and of course you didn't behave childish or silly or
Yeah,
stupid.
she's the best person to tell you. She'll
Yeah,
tell you.
because then just from the way you conducted yourself and the way you handled different things, you showed a great sense of responsibility.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
So yes, so it was obvious that you were a little wiser than your age. Yes, because typically, in fact, right from early days, I used to say I'll marry someone 3 or 4 years older because I thought maturity,
Comes with age, yeah.
yeah, especially from the guys, will be from that level.
Ah,
So it
until
was
until
interesting
until I stumbled on Job.
that
And Job taught me. I say, Job says that I thought that wisdom should come with the ages, with
with
gray
age.
hair. But no, but wisdom comes. There is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty that giveth you understanding. My goodness! When I learned that one, I knew, you cannot be too small to be wise enough. My goodness.
Yeah. So yes, there was maturity, which was clear. Even the way he handled different issues. I mean, me going away was one challenge, as in
Yeah.
going to have to do my
She had
master's.
to just when I asked her out.
Yeah.
When I asked her out, suddenly the Lord vindicated her and she got scholarship to go and study abroad. Just when I asked her out, that's putting me in a precarious situation.
So I had to go and study. The way he handled that showed some maturity. Coming back, just keeping tabs on what was going on with his life over here in Nigeria. Say, okay, from school they came and poached him to come and work in this place and all of that. And how he was living his life. There was discipline, there was consistency, there was order.
I'm trying.
And yeah, so maturity showed.
I'm trying.
For me, I think I would say maturity was just from being very self-aware. I was very self-aware. I read so many books. And, in our group, we would read books and would circulate the
Share.
books to our other friends so that we're growing together. So I read a lot of books. I was very self-aware. I knew what I wanted, right? And then, of course, I exposed myself to all those self what they call it
Self-help, self-improvement, yeah.
then it was self
Improvement,
improvement,
yeah.
stuff like that. Courses, there's some courses I also did. So yes, I was growing, and of course I was digesting that Bible like no man's business. So a lot of wisdom comes from the Word of God, especially when you go to Proverbs and some other places. And yeah, so yes, very well rounded. And I think another thing that just gives you a sense of maturity is when you're able to take care of yourself, take care of your own needs, stand your ground, defend your view on something. And I did a lot of that. So yes, that was awesome. So I would say maturity, I would say we were
Check.
good.
Check.
Check maturity. And another thing when it comes to emotional maturity, because there's a way you're like, oh, I'm young, anybody can just come and say, phew, and you follow the person. But emotional maturity, especially from the viewpoint of a woman, you have to be able to know what you want and what will be good for you. Yes, you have to be able to tell. If not, just you say, okay, I'm ready for marriage, and mosquito passes by and you follow it. You have to be able to say, no, it's not mosquito. It needs to be a human being, and it needs to be a human being with these qualities.
With these qualities,
so
yeah.
yes, I got there and I really knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
Number 5,
adaptability.
Adaptability. Yes. Why adaptability is critical, especially for men, is because you don't know tomorrow. Do you understand? You don't know tomorrow. You can't exactly you cannot control all the variables of what will happen after you say I do. So you have to be willing to adjust. In going into marriage, we had a lot of conversations about potential twists and turns of life, right? We had different levels of conversations about it, and they come in many shapes and sizes. For example, something simple. For example, something simple like, okay, as an Igbo man, I'm not an Igbo man, but I have Igbo blood. Yes, as an Igbo man, what if you don't have boys? What if you have what if you only have girls, right? That's a conversation that needs adapting. Do you understand? Yeah. So, as an Igbo man, what if you have only girls and you don't have boys? She asked that question at some point. By the way, when we started going out, she gave me a very long list. Yeah, a very long list of questions. Foolscap sheet. Those of you that know foolscap sheets that year, a foolscap sheet full of questions that she was asking because she's trying to find out, guy, what's the plan, so that we are not just moving anyhow. And in those questions, I actually found places where I myself might not have had a position, but I needed to have a position that works for us in the long term. So I had to make decisions. I had to take a position. How are we? There's an example I want to give. I don't know if um, if this is the best place to give it. I don't know if this is the best place to give it. But speaking about adaptability, something that very easily would come up is, okay, at that time, we all knew she was going to be a singer. We all knew she has the gift to sing. She has the talent to sing, to produce music. What that means is that she's, for all intents and purposes, she's going to be a front stage person. How are you going to deal with that if you are not a front stage person too, if you're not a celebrity too? How are you going to deal with that? Because I wasn't planning to be a celebrity, even though now I'm celebritarious. Don't go and check. Don't go and check the dictionary. I've warned you. Just stay with me. Stay on the program. Wait. So, but
Oh my goodness.
but I had to deal with that possibility. So, are you going to marry a wife that has the potential to be a celebrity and then convert her to a housewife because you cannot deal with the level of ambition that she's coming with? So that's something that I have to deal with. And I have to do what? I have to adapt so that we can say, okay, if she's going to be a celebrity, if she's going to be someone that is always out there, what are the changes what are the plans, what are the systems we have to put in place? All of those things come into the mix, when we're talking about adaptability. So that's one instance. I will leave the other one for a different time.
Yeah. And then for me, adaptability was stuff like, will you go and live in Akure?
Yeah.
Right? So will you do something else other than engineering? Because come on, you have your first degree, you have your master's.
You were even planning to teach then. You were planning that
Yeah,
if it came
yes, I
to
was
it,
planning to do teaching
you
in
do
addition
teaching
to
in addition
baking.
to baking. Yes.
So, but something like that. So, are you ready to give up Abuja for
For love.
for Akure? Do you understand? So that was part of adaptability. Of course, what I said to myself was, what is important to me is to be where my husband is. I'm not going to do long distance marriage because I just don't want to do it. I don't think I'm cut out for it, so I have to be where he is. So at that point, I decided I'll go to Akure and I'll make it work. That's adaptability. Adaptability is changing your mind from, I want to marry somebody who is 3 years older, right, or 4 years older, to saying, I've seen this guy, we're the same age, but he makes sense, he's sharp, he's wise, he's mature, he's saved, he loves God. What else am I looking for? So adaptability is making adjustments to what you initially had as your ideas of what a spouse should be, right? And adaptability was, I'm coming away from a place where you'd say we had the basics and you would expect, oh, if I'm getting married to someone, you should have a house, you have a car, you should have that. And just being
Yes.
willing to start small.
Yes,
Just being willing to start
key.
small.
That's key for adaptability, because I was going to bring out the point. You just took it right off my mouth, right out of my mouth. I was going to bring the point where part of adaptability is that you are coming from Anietie and you're coming from Kingsley to become Annie King. Now, it cannot be what Anietie wants alone or what Kingsley wants alone. It has to be what will work for Annie King. So that's the whole concept of adaptability, and it is a case of a man shall leave his mother and his father and be joined to his wife. That's where the concept of the Anietie King comes from, and be joined with his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. It means that when he says the two becomes one flesh, it means that the two are no longer Anietie, they are no longer Kingsley, they are Anietie King. But the problem we have a lot of times is people come from their singleness, come into marriage, and still want to hold on to the singleness. That's where adaptability is key. You cannot come into marriage and still want to be holding on to your singleness. I want to have it my way. I want my own thing. You are doing your own thing. You're not doing my own thing. All of that needs to go.
Yeah. So you have to now start thinking of what works for you
us,
guys, rather than what works for
me,
you as an individual.
You as an individual. And a lot of that,
a lot of shifting is
yes,
required.
a lot of shifting is required, and a lot of that begins even before you say I do. You have to ask yourself some of those questions. And she has two books out there. You people don't know, Husband Material, and then she has Husband Material, the workbook. You see, in Husband Material, there are 100 questions that you can ask as singles that begins to help you understand how to adjust and how to shift, or where a shift is necessary. There are questions you can ask yourself instead of asking how is the weather or have you eaten. Don't be okay. These days, guys say they don't used to ask have you eaten because because the answer to the question may involve billing. so they don't used to answer. But I mean, the questions that you ask, you have to go beyond the surface and get to the deep questions, because that's where you guys actually connect even before you say I do. And that's where the adaptability is a very strong component of getting married.
Yeah. So it's really important. But you see, I think it will be great to just let you know how this whole thing played out, right? Two things. Number one, at the time you went and told your dad that you were ready to get married, he asked you one question, and then he asked me the same question.
Oh, I can't remember which question.
Are you ready for this? He asked you.
Okay.
He asked you, are you sure?
Are you sure?
Said, are you ready for this?
One,
and
yes.
You said yes.
Yes.
Then he turned and asked me, are you ready for this? Do you understand? So it was more like the guy wasn't going to tell us, no, you're not old enough, or you're too young or whatever. He wasn't going to judge as in be the one to be the determinant. But he was going to make us responsible for our action and our decisions.
Yeah.
Yes. So he just was doing a check. Like, okay, you say you want to get married. Are you sure?
Yeah, you're ready
Don't
for
like,
this.
are you sure? It was like, are you
ready
sure?
for this? And the moment he said
yes, he said, give me your brother's number.
They just put the machinery entered into motion.
My goodness.
And at that point, you can't even stop it again. Do you understand? But you see, that's when you have checked these 5 things, right? It's not cast in stone. It's not exhaustive. It's just a template that you can use. When you've checked these 5 things, right, you can actually take the step. Other things, you will meet other things on the way, but this gives you a baseline to begin to adjust, and move on. But when you've done these 5 things, you've checked these 5 things, you can actually take the step and watch as other things play out.
If someone says, the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Now, it's interesting that, and the same Bible also says, seest thou a man diligent in all his business. He will stand before kings. He won't stand before mean men. So this is just 2 scriptures. So there are many scriptures that if you piece them together and meditate on them and pray with them, see, there's a way your life will go once you have gotten married. In fact, sometimes it's as if God is too anxious to make you see what he does with this union, that some of the blessings begin to unfold before the date of the marriage. Because for us, of course, we've settled we're going to live in Akure.
Yes.
30,000 we're planning to pay a month before the wedding, we can have time to clean the house and do all of that stuff.
And then
the wedding was planned for November end and December end.
Yes.
So
November
traditional
end,
November
traditional.
end.
The white
And
wedding,
just look
December
at how
end.
things unfolded. In October, his office in Akure told him,
Well,
you are moving to Lagos.
Lagos.
Go and resume there.
As a
October,
full staff.
Yes, as a full staff. Go and resume there October 31st of 2007.
As a full staff.
He that was his own. Then me, remember, I've been praying to God in that my office.
Vindicate me, dear
me, oh
Lord.
Lord. I can't come with all these skills, and these people are paying me half of what they were paying in copper. And the vindication came through. I did a couple of exams, did interview, all of that. And I got my employment letter, and they said resume in Lagos November 1st. The very next day, after he was also to resume.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
In Lagos. So he was traveling from Akure to Lagos. I was traveling from Abuja to Lagos. He resumed in Lagos one day before me. So you can imagine that weekend, we just found our way to Silverbird.
That's where we met.
Yes.
Is this you?
Silverbird.
As I was coming, she was coming. I was like, is this you? Other people are coming to watch
We were coming to sit down and say,
and look at ourselves. We are actually in this Lagos. Is this you? Is this me? Do you understand?
My goodness!
But you see, that's amazing.
And then you know, the rent that was supposed to be 30,000 in Akure, the cheapest, the most reasonable house, the reasonable cost that we could find was 550,000.
We were going to pay 30K in Akure. The rent in Lagos was 550,000 for less the house, because the one in Lagos was 2 rooms. The one in Akure was 3 rooms.
Exactly. But God made it such that we were able to afford it.
Lagabadaya.
Do you understand? So everything just changed, like the orchestration. No.
And a lot of times, the problem is a lot of times, you know, he says he that finds a wife obtains favor. People want to see the favor before they find the wife.
Yes, brother. All right.
But see, if na God you follow, just follow him. You get why?
Yes.
You know, but because those things, as in the way it played out, we could not have scripted it.
You could not have.
No, we could not have scripted
How would
it.
In fact, we weren't even praying for transfer. Do you understand?
We have already made our plan within. That's what I'm saying. You have to make, don't plan in the hope. No, make it within that context, so that when God blesses you and promotes you, you are still okay. Because I think I'm still amazed. That's the place we should just spark this thing. So that if you have heard it, you know that it happens.
Yes.
And you cannot see, I dare you. You cannot even say that you are lucky. Me, lucky. You cannot say that, oh, it's because you people are the lucky one. You say lie. Follow the principle. If you are following God, follow him. Follow that principle. Follow the scriptures. Follow the tenets he has laid down. He's not a respecter of persons. That's another scripture. Today I'm just vomiting scriptures.
And he has no favorites.
Yes, he's not a respecter of persons. If what he has done for one, he will do for many. Just follow.
And his word is true. It applies.
It applies.
Right? So it's not
over generations.
Yes, it's not some people it will work, some people it will not work. No, his word is tested, trusted, tried. Right? And so you can take it to the bank.
You can take it to the bank. I think that's where we put, because in this Christmas season, we need a lot of banking.
Yes. All right, people. It's so wonderful that you stayed with us to this point. I hope you had so much fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let the comments keep flowing after the show ends. Come back and put your comments in, because we really want to hear from you.
Share is a season to share. It's a sharing season. Yes. Please share. Please subscribe. You know, it's also a very subscription season. So subscribe in this season of celebration. Yes. So please subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
Let us get to the permanent side. Share this video. Share it round and round.
And get ready for 2025, because it's going to be explosive.
Yes.
In a good way. All right, people. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Like we always say, remember, common sense
is not so common.